Good evening and welcome. I want to thank you for coming this evening. I know it's been a while since I've done a Facebook Live event, so I'm glad that tonight you can join me because tonight's going to be one of those important evenings to give you some information to help you. And you know me, I'm the type that likes to teach something to push you along or move you along on your spiritual journey or the direction you want to be able to go in life, right? So what prompted tonight's Facebook Live event, actually, obviously, the coronavirus and the crisis that's been going on with that. And so many of us are now kind of quarantined. We're stuck in our homes in order to be safe, right? And so I see that there's been a lot of wonderful postings out there from my community, the spiritual community, the metaphysical community, and also the mainstream community, and not such nice postings as well. Well, I kind of wanted to cover that tonight because I think it is really important that we understand what's going on, because I do want to talk about the myth of the coronavirus, the cause of the coronavirus, and then the most important part is the cure of the coronavirus. That's right, I'm talking about the cure for the coronavirus. And I'm not talking about some scientific method or some shot in the arm, some biological thing that's going to wind up helping us. I'm talking about something far greater than that. That's not just going to help the coronavirus, but it's going to wind up healing so many other ills in the world today. Okay? So let's just talk about some of those postings that have been out there. Now, obviously, we're already in a state of crisis and negativity, so to contribute to anger and resentment and frustration really isn't a wise thing to do. So all of this lashing out and posting these possible situations that are occurring, that people are purposely using the coronavirus to try to make money, to push themselves ahead, their agenda, some conspiracy theories that are all over the place there. Let's just pull that down and throw that stuff away, because that's not helping. That is certainly not boosting the immune system, because anything negative, and it's been scientifically shown, so this isn't just a metaphysical or a spiritual talk here, anything negative is going to suppress the immune system. Fears suppress the immune system. And anytime you're lashing out with anger and resentment, even against the people who've been hoarding all the toilet paper out there, I don't know why we need so much toilet paper, but even throwing your comments at them and criticizing them and chastising them, that is actually still stemming from a fear that maybe you won't have enough toilet paper or that somebody else won't have toilet paper. And either way, that is still negative. And that negativity is suppressing the immune system. So let's just eliminate that and try to get on board towards being more positive. And you'll see why by the time I finish this evening's talk. Now, besides the negative postings that have been out there, there have been many, many, many different spiritual and metaphysical postings. And I actually want to compliment those, my colleagues and practitioners who will post some meditations to help calm people on a daily basis, maybe some prayers that are out there, which are all wonderful. And there's one in particular that was posted that I do want to refer to, and I'm going to get back to that. And so that's all wonderful, and if that helps you get through the day, that's fabulous. Helps to boost up your immune system because you're calming down the negativity, boosting up the positive. There you go. You become more immune to what's going on out there, okay? Then there is the actual spiritual community, the New Thought spiritual community. And there are some different ideas with that. And some of the ideas of that is, if you believe that you are capable of healing yourself, you're not vulnerable to catching this disease. You believe that whatever you put out there is what you manifest. And I totally believe that as well, too. However, I also remember hearing a very wise person, a spiritual leader who was here, couple of thousand years ago who said, "Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God." Okay, now I don't mean to be religious, but that's actually a quote from the Bible. It's not necessarily religious. It was a piece of guidance for us. What was meant by that? Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. Well, what was actually meant is, don't try to prove or have to prove that you're spiritually minded by tempting faith. If Jesus was walking the earth today, I could promise you that he would not cross out in the middle of the highway and wait for a Mack truck to hit him to prove to you that he doesn't have to die from getting hit by a Mack truck. He would turn around and say, "Step out of the way of the Mack truck and have faith you're going to be okay." So to me, "Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God" means don't tempt that you are not going to get the virus or that you're not going to be able to pass it to somebody else, because that's just really tempting fate here. And besides that, there are a lot of people who don't have the same belief. Even if you have such a strong, unbelievable belief, well, that's all the more power to you. That's wonderful. That's great. You should be teaching classes here. But I can assure you that the majority of people on this earth do not have that kind of faith, that they can step in a fire and not be burnt. So therefore, avoid the fire. Avoid the hole. Don't tempt your ability and your power. So I don't agree then that you should be walking around with the holier than thou attitude. If we go there, let's go there. Okay, that I am impenetrable. Okay, come and throw all the coronavirus you want at me. I am not going to get it. We are still living in a physical world. We are still a biology for a reason. And we still have certain limitations purposely. We don't have to have limitations, but then again, we wouldn't be here on this planet. We wouldn't be in this incarnation if we didn't want certain limitations. And as long as we're in a physical body, we have to take care of that body, right? So if we are then going to care for it, we eat properly, right? We get the proper sleep. If you really think that you are infallible and that you are capable of healing everything, then you don't have to worry about eating right, taking care of yourself, getting enough sleep, right? You can do all the bad habits. Why not drink? Why not smoke? Because you don't want to push it. You want to honor body, mind, and spirit. So therefore, there should really not be any continued practice of, I'm just going to walk around here as if nothing is wrong. Because there is a problem. There is an issue out there. There is a neighbor that may not, like I said, have the faith as you. So I'd love to see you take the spare out of the car and keep it in your garage and never worry about getting a flat tire. I don't think you would do that. That wouldn't be the wisest thing, not unless you have AAA or some roadside assistance, right? You're always going to have some protective measures, precautionary measures, because that's the world we have chosen to live in, so that we can be smart in different ways. If we just wanted to be totally unlimited and complete spirits, we would not be here. We would be on the other side in the spirit realm. But obviously we wanted to experience some of this stuff. We wanted to experience our own bodies taking care of its own biology. Even if you're susceptible to a cold and something happens, you can still heal it. No, you do not have to suffer with all the things that people are getting and all the diseases that are out there. I totally agree with that. However, don't tempt faith or fate. Whichever word you want to use, it's the same thing. So back to then, my metaphysical people, okay? There are some beliefs. This I saw posting, and this actually is what prompted me to have tonight's Facebook Live event. It disturbed me a bit, I'm going to be honest with you, okay? I wasn't judgmental of the person. I knew exactly where she was coming from. But there's a lot of things out there that are being done, including all those wonderful meditations and prayers, They're all coping mechanisms. Remember, I was a psychotherapist and I had my license, and we learned in psychology coping skills, how to cope with the coronavirus, how to cope with being stuck at home, how to try to calm yourself. Those are all wonderful things, but they are not curative. 4 stages of consciousness. 4 stages. Okay. So let's just take the stages briefly, and then I'll come back and we'll try to fit this coronavirus in those stages to see what stage it really is in. Stage 1, according to Reverend Beckwith, is the to me stage. The conscious belief that you are a victim and that everything in life is happening to you, that this virus, that the economy, that your neighbor, that your friend or whomever is happening to you. Whatever they do, it's happening to you. You are a victim in all of this with absolutely no control. That is the first level of consciousness. And I think we can understand that the reason why it's the first level of consciousness is because it's a real lower understanding. When you live that victimization life, you give over all your power and control to everything else in the world. Okay? To everybody else, you take no power, you have no control. So yes, then of course things are going to be happening to you left and right all over the place when you give up your power. Then the next stage of consciousness you go to, or supposed to evolve to, is the for me stage. The for me. So in other words, actually everything is happening for me, not to me. I'm not a victim. It's actually happening so that I can evolve, so that I can grow, so I can gain something positive out of this experience. So therefore, everything that goes on in my life, I'm going to look at as happening for me. That's stage 2. Stage 3, according to Reverend Beckwith, of consciousness, the next level, the next step we go to as we're evolving and growing, is the through me concept. So now we understand that there's energy and that everything is about energy, but now it's flowing through me. This is where the concept of surrender and go with the flow follows. Let go and let God. All of those concepts fall under this understanding that all you have to do in life is, if there's something that you want, you just put that desire into the universe and then go with the flow. So it's like getting the canoe out, get on the river, use your paddles to direct it a bit, but then you're going with the flow. And you know that source, that spirit, that God, that your higher self are all working through you. Okay? So that's the third level of consciousness. The highest level of consciousness and awareness is as me. And now where we switch is not that things are happening to me, not that things are happening for me, not even that things are happening through me. Things are happening as me. I am everything that happens, everything that is, good, bad, or indifferent. So, going back to this poem then, this beautiful saying, right? What if this virus is happening for us? That is level 2 understanding. Why is it important for me to bring this up? Remember I said in the beginning, I wanted this to be about more than just putting a Band-Aid on things, more than just giving you coping skills. I'm here to teach you skills to grow, skills to transform your life. So I'm going to do everything I can to help you go to the higher levels and staying at level 2 with the understanding and the belief that all of this is happening for us is a very low understanding. Now, it's okay because there are people that need to be in that place. I'm not saying that we are all at the top. There are some at the top, there are some at the bottom, there are some in between, and we switch all over the place all the time. But I'm talking about a cure here. And I can tell you this right now. If you believe that anything is happening for you, you will never be able to take control and stop everything and change it. You cannot cure and stop what is going on in the world today with the belief that it's all happening for us. There is a religious belief that God is doing this for us. Right? There's some that believe, oh, he's punishing us, right? You have those absolutely ridiculous posts that same-sex marriage and gays have caused the coronavirus. Actually, that statement caused the coronavirus more than any same-sex marriage would ever cause any type of problem or illness, right? That negativity, that hatred, that bigotry. That is what fueled it, right? So, the idea then that God is doing this to us, that's the victimization idea. Oh, but then there's some religious people who may be a little bit evolved in themselves that have actually told me this week during some of my readings that God is doing this for us. Because yes, it is causing some wonderful things, but I'm going to get to those wonderful things in a moment because that's who we are. Those wonderful things are not coming out because of the virus. Okay, we have to stop believing that we need planes crashing into buildings, earthquakes, people shooting mass groups of people and children, viruses killing people in order to bring the best out of us. The best is always there. Okay, the best is always there. We're afraid to bring it out of us. So you have to understand then, in order to cure the situation, we can't even think this is happening through us. That God is flowing through us, that energy is flowing through us, that the virus is flowing through this, and that we're manifesting it. We did not even manifest this illness. We are, as the fourth understanding, the fourth level of understanding states, as me. Everything is me. If everything is me, then we are the virus. You're only seeing it in a biological circumstance and substance, but that's only because we're manifesting it biologically, but we are it. We are every cell of our body. Every cell of our body has every piece of our DNA. Our soul and spirit goes through and swims and energizes every single cell in our body. Therefore, it also energizes the bad cells that could be in the atmosphere that we can spray onto droplets onto another person. We are everything. We are each other. So we are getting each other sick in that way. It's the same thing. We're getting ourselves sick, whether it's my brother or whether it's me. We are the virus. And if you don't believe me, just think of all the negativity that's been going on. And why would the coronavirus come out now? Well, the coronavirus is just icing on the cake, shall we say, and not a very good cake either. And it's look at what's been happening around the globe. I mean, between the earthquakes, the tornadoes coming through, fires burning half of a country and killing thousands of animals, and all over the world, people dying, the wars, the battles, the wiping out of civilizations and people. That is a virus, people. So just because it transforms into now a bug that is forcing us to isolate from each other, what difference does that make? It's still a virus. One, it doesn't look any worse than somebody picking up a gun and going and shooting a whole bunch of people at one time. But that's what we're doing, and that's the next level. That's the next step. If we don't take care of those things, what did we expect? Where did we expect it to go? This is us. That virus is us. And why is it so important to know that? Now we're like, oh, Vince, I'm watching this Facebook Live event tonight because I thought you were going to lift me up. No, just before me, Amy Steinberg, you did an incredible concert, Facebook Live. We've got some talented people out there that are really helping people. That's great. That's wonderful. Go watch all of those things. I want you to get uplifted. Then come back and listen to this so that you can grow. And we have the time to work on it. Because here's the most important part and why I am telling you this. If we are the virus, then the exact thing that has caused it to come out and manifest physically outside of ourselves and into the world, we have to do the exact reverse to heal it and cure it. So what do I mean by that? Okay. Even some good people out there, as much as we try to walk in light, we'll pass by an opportunity to help somebody. We'll pass by an opportunity because we're busy. We may be running to our spiritual center. We may be going, oh, I have to meditate right now. I can't answer that call. It's my meditation time. So I got to meditate. Okay? So we're not all perfect. Not even me. No matter what I teach, no matter what anybody teaches, we do have our weaknesses, right? So maybe we haven't cared as much for people as we wanted to. And then there's the obvious non-caring people. There's been so much criticism and judgment. There's been so much bigotry and hatred. It's been going rampant through this country. It's been spreading to other countries. All of that. Isn't it interesting that our human behavior knows no boundaries? No wall can contain it. It's not an immigrant, legal or illegal. It's all of us. It's all the same thing, and it affects everybody all around the globe. And that's exactly what this virus is doing. It knows no boundaries. It sees no walls. It doesn't matter. It can go right over the walls and into the next country and devastate it, right? So we have been doing that. All of that hatred has been building and building. And yes, I do believe it's been feeding into the earth and causes earth changes and has been causing all the different crises that have been going on year after year during this past decade. Yes, of course, there's wonderful and good things going on too in between that, but that is not the point of today, because the good and wonderful things have not stopped this virus, has it? All those wonderful, pure things. This just goes to show you how much more we need to do, because we've not been able to contain it. We've not been able to safeguard everybody until we're doing what we're doing now. Again, that's part of the cure. I'm going to come right back to that. So all of this negative stuff has been building and building and building, and yes, it just manifested. So we've been hating not only our neighbors, but ourselves. Criticizing, unhappy. I get phone calls every single day doing readings, and I'm doing readings for people who are unhappy. They don't have direction. They feel blocked. Their relationship has broken up, or they haven't had a relationship in years. I am still dealing with people that are 49 and 50 years old, never been married, and never had a lasting relationship at all. So those type of things are still out there in the world, right? And all of this negativity has built up, and so we need to stop and reverse everything, right? We feel bad about ourselves, and we criticize ourselves. No, I'm not good enough. I'm not going to get that. No, I'm still unlovable. No wonder why I don't have a partner. And I don't care if you're saying it consciously. You know I do all unconscious work. And if you don't, then read up on some of the stuff that I do. Stop stopping yourself and become unstoppable. It's all about those hidden feelings we hold deep down that are maladaptive self-beliefs. The I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I'm not deserving. All of those, and I know you all have them because they've been guiding you unless you are manifesting everything you want in your life right now. And I don't care what spiritual group you belong to. I don't care what books you've been reading. Reading and intellect and holding all that knowledge up here as if you just opened up a library doesn't make a difference if you are not using the material. So if this is more than just a wake-up call, this is more than believing that this is happening for us so that we can become more friendly again, so that we can spend more time with each other. No. That is the absolute cure that I'm going to be telling you. So, let's jump into that cure. Let me tell you right now. So, step one, and I'm talking about you will see a reversal of this coronavirus if I can get enough people to practice this daily. And it's not even a practice, it's making it your life change now. You have nothing else to do except worry about whether you're going to run out of toilet paper or hand sanitizer. Okay? Well, there's other things to wipe your butt with. I love the one about the chair outside, and they cut out the seat of the chair and they put a sprinkler underneath it and they made their own bidet. Go make your own bidet and stop worrying about the toilet paper, but spend the time to take care of this because you are worth it. Commit to this. And I promise you, you'll see a change out there. And you'll see it happening exponentially. Not just, at the same time, it's coincidental because we have the lockdown. Look around. How much of a lockdown do we really have? We ran out to the store today real quick, wore gloves as best we could, ran in, ran out, stayed away from as many people, but not everybody else is doing that. Look at the lines at Costco. Groups of people standing together to avoid going in as groups. No common sense, but they're right next to each other. And they're still spreading it because they're not thinking. I need you to think now. Because here are the steps to take care of body, mind, spirit that will take care of the coronavirus and every other crisis. 1, you need to spend this time while you're home, and you may not be working or in between your work and when you're taking your breaks, to go deep within and face your fears. Face your deepest, darkest self. You absolutely have to do this because it's that deepest, darkest self that you think you're not presenting to the world because you're walking around with a smile on your face and you're spiritual. But if we are everything, and if the virus is us and we are the virus and we are connected to everybody, then your deep, dark fears that you are hiding are affecting everybody else. They have infected everybody else. So you have to take care of those things. The 2 top commandments are love the God within you with all your heart and all your might. And then when you love yourself and that God that you are, you can love your neighbor too. Those are the 2 things we must do. Love ourselves and love our neighbor. By the way, that's the way Jesus really said it. We bastardized it, or not me personally. The Nicene Council, 535 AD, bastardized, took away his words, changed them all so that you got something else. But that's what it was supposed to be. Love yourself because you're God. And love your neighbor because they're God too. So, oh wow, my watch is talking to me. Thank you. It just said, right on. Okay. So 1, bring those fears to the surface and start working on them, because once you start to see them, you can release them. Doing all these other exercises and meditating so that you can avoid that and forget that and make yourself feel good doesn't heal that stuff. It makes you feel good for the moment and it may raise your immune system temporarily, but it doesn't make you the strongest that you can be. Bring those defense mechanisms to the surface and those fears to the surface. Face them, change them, love yourself as much as you can. That is step 1, is to work on you. And that's every day, and I'm talking start tonight. It doesn't take much time at all. As soon as you hang up with me, all you have to do is start talking to yourself and say, I'm willing to listen to my greatest fears. Do an exercise. Meditation, personification exercise that I learned in my spiritual center, where you take a pad and a pen, and it's as if you're going to meditate, and you sit quietly, and you're saying, and your intention is, I want to talk to my fears. I want to talk to my inner voice. I want to talk to my inner child, the little kid inside of me. Because He or she are the ones that are harboring all those fears, by the way. And then you pick up the pen after about 5 minutes with that intention, and it's as if you're going to write a script, and you start writing. Big me, whatever your name is, and write a line to little me. Are you there? To your fears. Are you fears? Are you there? You're just making up a script, right? And you go over and write fears. Yes, I am. Go over me. How are you feeling? Go over. I'm scared. Of course, that's what your fears would say. Whatever comes out, just write. Your dialogue between you, your inner voice, you, your inner child, you, your fears. It doesn't matter. Just write it. You may get 4 lines out. You may get 4 pages out. Then go back and read it, and you'll see what you've been hiding inside of you. It's even better than journaling. If you need more directions on that, you can contact me at info@vincentjenna.com, and I'll explain it more to you. That's step 1. Bring it up. Start working on yourself. Step 2. Start loving yourself. Do loving things for yourself. Talk to yourself. Reparent yourself. Tell yourself how wonderful you really are, and not just BSing yourself. We like to, pat ourselves on the back falsely. We don't believe that. You look in front of the mirror and you may be doing your hair and stuff, and I really look good today. But meanwhile, you're sitting there the next morning and you're like, oh my God, I feel like shit. Oh, look at me. My ass is so friggin' fat in those jeans. Oh, look, more lines. And that was me this morning. No, I don't do that. I don't do that. But you really need to do things to say and talk to yourself and nurture yourself as you are a little kid. If you had a child and you wanted to show that child how much that child was loved, you'd know what to do. You must do that with yourself. As ridiculous as it can sound, it is some of the most healing work you will ever do. So bring your fears to the surface. 1, the deepest, darkest part of you, don't be afraid to face it, because it's all false anyway. That's the only reason why people don't want to face their deep fears. Their greatest fear is that everything that they thought about themselves, they fear is true. We dealt with that as psychotherapists. People wouldn't come in, or they would stop their therapy just when they were about ready to break through that barrier, because they were afraid to find out, I really am no good. I really am not lovable. And that is all false. You need to work through that to get to the soul, to get to the divinity, the magnificent part of who you are. So you've got to do this work, and you've got to do it now. That's step 1, step 2 in loving yourself. Step 3 is vital. Every single day from tomorrow on, find something to do for your neighbor. Do you see what's happening now out there? There are groups that are actually going out contacting their neighbors to see, I'm going to the store, and so that way you don't have to go out and subject yourself to exposure to anything. What can I pick up for you? Some seniors that you contact. And if you're going out, you can contact me. I'm one of those people. I'm 65 and above. I'm in the high-risk area, but I'm fine. I'm taking care of myself. But I want to help my neighbors who are older. Find something to do for someone else. I don't care if it's a phone call. You must. This is part. You can't just love yourself. You must love your neighbor. Therefore, you must do something loving for your neighbor. This is part of the cure. Consider this like taking vitamin C. This is stronger than vitamin C. Okay? This is stronger than any antibodies that they can create against this virus. You'll create them yourself. And not only will you create them yourself, but you'll be feeding them to everybody else as well. You must take the time to help somebody. I don't care if it's to bring a smile to their face. Every day, anytime you can think of something. People have already been doing that, right? They've been going online. If you want to share a meditation with somebody, share a meditation with somebody. I just ask, please let's stay in the as-me mind concept. Let's try to get there as much as possible. This virus is me. So if you think of it from that perspective, this virus is me, what is going to get rid of it? What caused it? hatred, negativity, me being distant from my neighbor, maybe not necessarily caring about my neighbor, being judgmental, being unkind to me. That's what caused it. That's the same thing as I didn't eat right. I'm not feeding myself right. My immune system is low. I'm not getting enough sleep. Those are the same things. Include those all together and you'll understand then. You can take it. This is me. Okay, so then what do I need to do to reverse that? And if you come from that mindset, you can then work backwards from it and know every single step. I don't have to tell you this or remind you this because you'll know it. If it's affecting the world, we need to do something with the world. It's not a matter of just doing it alone. That's why this containment is flattening the line. That's what they're caring about right now. It's flattening the line. I'm caring about getting rid of the line. I want to get rid of the line. I want to get rid of the disease. I want to get rid of the possibility of something else coming after this. Okay? And we can do that. And this is the way you do that. You look at the disease, you find out what the symptoms are. And here is the interesting thing about the symptoms, the actual symptoms of this disease. What is it doing? It's getting into the lungs. It's getting into the pulmonary area, and it's causing you to fill up. You get bacterial pneumonia. This is how people are dying from bacterial pneumonia that keeps filling up your lungs with fluid and fluid and fluid and fluid. Okay. This is your fourth spiritual center, your heart chakra. It has everything to do with love. The lack of love, the clogging of love, the limitation of love can affect every single part here. Heart disease, lung disease, even diabetes because of the blood pumping through the heart are all diseases and illnesses caused from the lack of love. And this is what I've been talking about. So then guess what heals it? Love. And I'm not talking about false stuff. I'm talking about real stuff. Why do you think I'm doing this? I'm doing this from love. Not one of you need to pay me for this. So I gain nothing out of this other than my brothers and sisters not getting sick and watching more of them die and suffering. Okay. So it's okay we die because there really isn't a death, right? I'm a medium. I get to talk to them. As a matter of fact, that's what we're supposed to be teaching in this new thought phase, that there is no such thing as death. You're right. There is no such thing as death, but there is such thing as suffering. And we don't need to suffer to get to the other side. We don't. As a matter of fact, there was a man who went through suffering to purposely try to tell us that we didn't have to. If we believed his way, we don't have to suffer. That's what he meant by that. That's why he allowed himself to be crucified, is not so that you can form a new religion and just believe in him, but to believe in his teachings, which was about love. And now we got a coronavirus crucifying people. And we can stop that with love. So love your neighbor. You must make the effort to love your neighbor. Do your morning prep work, whatever you do. You take your vitamins, you take your meds, you take your vitamin C, boost your body's immune system. Don't tempt fate or faith. And then take your love potion. Okay, love potion number 9. I don't care what love potion it is. Take it and feed it to yourself first and foremost. Why first and foremost? Because you cannot love another until you love yourself. Bottom line, I don't care what you want to say. You must. Love comes through us and out of us and as us. You understand that? I just finished saying we are the highest consciousness level. Thank you, Reverend Michael Beckwith, for giving that to us, is as us. So the love is as us. So we need to love as us so that we can love others as us, as we love ourselves. That's what the as is. And that's what the I am means. I am, and anything you put after it, that I am. I am that I am. I am because it's the I am. It's not to me. It's not for me. It's not through me. It's I am. It's as me. As me is the same thing as I am. That's what God was saying. That's what we have to know spiritually. So, to recap this, the 4 levels of consciousness are to me, for me, through me, surrender, as me. Therefore, if everything is as me, I can reverse it all. Because if I become love, and if I become healing, so will everything else. That is the bottom line, people. That is the reason why I came to you. I'm not judging anybody who writes this stuff, but I want to take you to the higher levels, not the lower ones, because we've been here for a while now. We've been here at the for me stage a long time. As soon as the New Thought movement and the New Age movement started, we started to understand our consciousness, and our spiritual gurus and teachers and authors all wrote books about how the universe is all conspiring to help us. We are never alone. God is doing everything for us. Then God is doing everything through us when we have a little higher belief. He's working through us. He's experiencing itself through us. But in actuality, God is experiencing itself as us because we are God. And if we are God, we are good. And if we are good, we can turn and reverse that if we don't feel it and be negative and act bad. And even a virus, it's alive, it has life, so therefore it has to have some of its own goodness in what it does, but it has interfered in ours because that's who we are. We created this, we are this virus, and we created it affecting us, so now we're the disease. Once we become one with something, it's now us. And we are spreading it to each other because we're all it. So in actuality, we are not actually spreading it, we're awakening it. Just the same as you can awaken the goodness within each person, you can awaken the negativity within each person. And if you don't believe that, think about what's been going on, some of the words that have been said at some place that is causing other people, right, to be incited, to incite their anger, to incite their negativity, right? So that is being awakened within them. So in actuality then, it's not a matter of us, okay, there is the coronavirus, and now I'm going to go to my neighbor and I'm going to spread it on my neighbor. No, it's because I am the coronavirus, and if I go near you, it can wake up the coronavirus within you, and your fears, and your lack of self-love, right here. So, your immune system is to love more. Your immune system is to become stronger in love of yourself and others. And I'm going to share something with you I've not shared with all people. In 2017, I had a heart attack. It turned out that I had a 99% blockage in one of my major arteries off my widowmaker. Yes, it just happened after I had developed an instantaneous fear because of work. I was working with a producer who was wanting to make me a television show, and it instilled an automatic, a fear came up that I didn't realize I had. It clogged my heart. Plus, I was also tempting fate a little bit by believing that I was strong and not necessarily taking care of my cholesterol level. I figured that my spiritual belief will help. I could do it naturally. Well, it wasn't happening naturally, and I really wasn't paying attention then. Boom, I have a heart attack. Got a stent put in, but here is the miracle that I promise all of you. The doctors looked at me and said, that was a miracle because you have absolutely no damage in your heart. I was walking around with that heart attack for 3 weeks. Not an ounce of damage. A matter of fact, they told me that my heart is close to an athlete's heart, that it's pumping out more blood than the average person, that I can walk through life, and even though there's a stint in there, no worries. Make believe you didn't even have the heart attack. And I attribute that to the love work that I actually do and that I've done. So that love work made my heart strong enough to tolerate a little weakness of mine that I didn't pay attention to, right? So it's, if you take care of your car and your vehicle, you might have a flat tire sometime, but it doesn't have to break down in the middle of the highway and you get hit by a whole bunch of other cars, right? Because you've taken care of it. You put the time, you put the work in. That's what I'm talking about now. So make yourself immune.